So I need to set the atmosphere for this video. I would go with blue, right? Because it's sad. It's a sad video, by the way. I am definitely saddened by it to see what's happening with the Article 13. I heard rumors that this law was made to be absolutely retarded on purpose. That they wanted to make it like the most stupid law ever, so that the big companies like the social media giants would come to the table, because they would look at it and they would be like, oh my god, no, this is nonsense. Like, we can't just let them vote on that. Like, we need to negotiate. We need to negotiate. And hopefully, maybe the Silicon Valley would part some cash or some of their powers to the EU. Well, at least that's what the rumor goes. That's what I heard. But what they didn't take into account is that the idiots that are being paid from the taxpayer money would actually vote on it. I'm genuinely thinking that this is how they do things in the EU. Like, you got a bunch of people that just go like, yes, yes. But you think I'm joking? You think, look at their faces. Just look at it. Like, reality is worse than fiction at this point. Right? Like, so they vote yes on everything, and they're so delusional. Like, there were millions of people outraged, right? Like, millions of people. Oh, no, they're misinformed. It's the people who are wrong. And then it turns out that these people don't know what the fuck they're voting on, right? So apparently Germany and France got together, right? The best things can happen when you hear the headline, right? Germany and France getting together, and they discussed this article, and now it's worse than it was before. Like, it's not. I don't know how they do it. Really, like they like shocking me. They like bewildering me. Like every single time, it's like I say, all right, like, things can't get any worse. It already sucks. They're like, you know what, V, you're wrong. So maybe I should be happy with the way things are now. Maybe I should actually get some optimism in my life, because, well, it can be worse. How? I don't know, but they'll find out. That's why they're paid for. That's literally what they do in the European Union. Like, they think, oh, the length of the wicks on the candle. Like, let's discuss that. Oh my god, like, what really pisses me off is that I see Romanians who genuinely love the European Union. Like, it goes beyond love and affection. It goes into fetishizing, right? Like, you see these protesters just covering themselves up with the European Union flag like it's some form of towel, right? But the problem is that very few people actually know how the institution functions. Like, it's okay if you like it. Like, we can agree to disagree. Maybe you think that countries don't know how to govern themselves and they need the European Union to light the way. Maybe like, what would Romania do without the guiding hand of the European Union? Maybe you're like that type of person. That's fine, But at least know how the institution is functioning. At least know, let's just say how the EU president gets elected. Something like that minor. Like, at least know how the institution works. Oh my god. But anyway, right, so we're facing with another absolutely ridiculous article, ridiculous piece of legislation that everyone on the internet is saying that it's bad, but the people inside, they go like, no, you know what, we know better. The people are the ones that are wrong. Every single time, right? So why is this legislation so bad, you may ask? Well, first of all, it kind of destroys fair use. Like, there is no more fair use on the internet, right? Like, it's just... You will see when we get into the details just how bad it is. Secondly, right now, if I upload some copyright content, right, like if I upload something bad on YouTube, what happens is that the person that I'm stealing the content from is going to hold me responsible, right? Like, they are the ones that can sue me. They can't go against YouTube because it's not, and it's normal, like, it's not YouTube's fault. Like, if I go into a restaurant and start showing copyrighted material to the people that are sitting on the table, it's not the restaurant's fault. Like, it's not the restaurant responsible for this. If I send copyrighted material on a phone, right, like if I live stream on my phone to someone else and I show them like a movie in a theater or something, it's not the phone company's fault, right? But no, now they want to make it so that it is the company's fault if there's any copyright, and you can see why the companies don't like that, right? Like, YouTube apparently had its CEO, Susan Wojcicki, who said that, look, if this is the case, we're just going to take away the rights for people to upload on YouTube from Europe. And they probably are going to do that. Like, if I was in charge of Europe, I would do the same. I spoke with the CEO of BitChute. He said the same thing. It's like, look, if this goes in, we're just going to move out of Europe, because there's no way of making sure that there's no copyright material on our website. And even if there was, like, can you imagine just how many lawsuits would be filed against the company? And then you have like the question, what if it's fair use versus what if it's actual copyright, you know? Anyway, right, so this is like the major reason that people are pissed off, and it goes even beyond that. You go into the link tax. Now, the link tax is the most stupid thing that I have ever heard. And of course it's stupid, because it comes from fucking Germany. Like, honestly, Germans, what do you put into the water of your lawmakers? I want to know. I legitimately want to know. Like, there is something either in the water or in the air that your lawmakers are exposed to. It seems that it goes even worse when they travel to Brussels. Like, that amplifies it, right? But they're insane. Like, when you look at a German piece of legislation, you wonder, like, is this written by a human being? Apparently, yes. Apparently, yes. You know, like, so the link tax, what it does? Well, apparently, if you want to show articles, like, this is something that existed in Germany, by the way, right? And it failed. Like, it was so bad that the actual people who apparently this law was supposed to protect the journalists said that it is ridiculous, please get it away, right? Didn't work in Germany, and now they want to apply it to the entire European Union. Like, all right, so apparently, if you want to talk about some article, if you want to talk about some story, and you're giving a link to it, you have to pay a tax, because in the great wisdom of the eternal German, they decide that journalists have an inalienable right. Like, they came up with this concept, right? That the journalist has an inalienable right to receive money every time someone quotes him. Like, what? Right? Like if I would have a company, right? Like, if I would be a newspaper and I say, you know, everyone can use my shit. Like, feel free. I don't care. No, you can't do that. It's an inalienable right. You can't give it away. Right. So you can't call out fake news anymore with this legislation. Do you understand this? Like, if Russia Today publishes a story, and I realize that it's full of shit, and I want to show people, like, look, this story is full of shit, and I show it on the screen, and I talk about it, and I, you know, bring evidence why it's full of shit. No, I need to pay Russia Today money for the link tax, or else I can't talk about it. So like, no one can criticize journalists anymore. Like, you would be unable to take a news article and offer your opinion about it. Oh my god, right. So apparently, this is what the law actually says, that the final version of this copyright for news sites closely resembles the version that failed in Germany, as I mentioned, and reproducing more than single words or very short extracts. I'm so glad that they let me reproduce single words. I'm so glad that in the wisdom of the European Union, if a journalist writes an article, the words don't become copyrighted. I'm so glad that I can still speak freely without purchasing some link tags from fucking CNN or whatever, right? But anyway, so if you want to reproduce more than single words or very short extracts of news stories, you will need a license. Now, apparently, the many snippets commonly show along links today in order to give you an idea of what they lead to. No one knows. Like, no one knows. Is it going to be... Well, it's going to be up to the judge what very short extract means. Very short. Like, what, one sentence? Well, that can be short, but not very short. You know, like, maybe you just need 2 or 3 words. And of course, no exceptions are made, even for services run by individuals, small companies, or non-profits, which probably includes any monetized blogs or website. This affects the journalists too, for fuck's sakes. Like, honestly, in the case of the Rolling Stones, right? Like, when Rolling Stones made the article about the fake rape controversy, and a lot of other journalists were writing about it, well, now they won't be able to write about it because it's their intellectual property. So you can't criticize them for that shit. It is unbelievable, right? I'm genuinely curious to see how The Guardian will be able to write about Breitbart. Or hell, even about Tommy Robinson. How will they be able to write about him if they can't quote him? Because he won't be able to claim, well, you know what, like, he can just set up a news organization. He can just, I don't even know why he did it, but he can just set up, you know, like a journalistic organization And then they won't be able to quote him. Because here's the thing, a lot of people say, well, just pay the fucking link tax. It's like, all right, so you honestly think, in your infinite wisdom, the person who came up with this shit, do you think that if I want to debunk some story from Russia Today, and I go to Russia Today and I say, hey, look, I want to debunk your story. I want to call you out on your bullshit narrative. I want to pay money. Will you give me, the permission to do that? Like, I'll pay you money and in exchange, you allow me to criticize you. Do you think they will say yes? Obviously they will. Oh my fucking God. Because I'm starting to believe that these people just have a hobby, to fuck you over. That's what they want to do, They want to get fat. They want to get fat on the taxpayer money. Your money, right? And then they make this type of legislation, and if you complain, it's like, oh, you're probably misinformed. Like, they know better, just sit down, shut the fuck up. You know what? Now it's your time to actually fuck with them. For like, you actually have this opportunity. Is the EU elections, right? The EU elections are coming. So they might actually listen for once, because for like the only thing these people are afraid of, the only thing is losing their seat. And you can actually take the seat away from them. And the way to do that is to go to the website that I'll put into the description. And, the juliarida.eu. And she's going to explain, like, the situation. You can get more information about this from that website. And at the bottom of the website, you can actually click a link and you can, message your EU MP and tell them about this and that you're unhappy and you're going to vote. I already emailed my MPs and they didn't vote how I liked it. So if they don't do it, like if they don't vote the way for once in my life, like this is the only time I'm actually taking an interest in how the European Union votes, right? If they don't do it, I will find the most extremist right-wing person that I can possibly find in my country. Like the guy that has the Romanian flag tattooed on his cock. And that's the guy I'm going to vote. Like, I will, if these people piss me off, I will make sure that I know how to piss them off. I don't know who that person is going to be, but I will definitely, like, go out of my way to find out, like, who is the most extremist person that is offering its candidature for the EU. Who does the newspapers in my country don't like? That is the person I'm going to vote, goddamn. I am so annoyed. Like, if they keep wanting to upset me, I can upset them once every 4 years. And I'm going to take all, I'm going to be the one that goes to the voting booth with his tongue hanging out, like, while I'm voting, for whomever is going to win my vote. Voting for whomever gets to win my vote. You can see that I'm a little bit screwed in the head. Huh? Like, just talking about these people gets your knock and jocking in the wrong way. But anyway, hope you liked the video, and I'm looking forward to see what you guys have to say in the comment section.